This test is to check that everything goes into my database properly, which will be used for the program of my underground tube travel program. So this is my database, and these are my tables. And in each of these tables, you would see all the links and all the contents. So if I open all of these tables, you will see that they're all currently empty. I'm just going to open all of them. These are all my tables, and if I run this, and now if I go ahead and, so you can see that all of these tables have been filled, which tells me that the code has worked and I officially have a database that I can work with. Okay, so one of the tests we need to do is to make sure that everything is correctly fitted into the into the adjacency matrix using the create adjacency matrix function. So I've loaded the same thing that is in the Monogame Database Manager, the same code that I would be using there. I have loaded it into a tester console project, which is also saved in the same solution, so it can access the database, the same database. And if I go on here, this is what I've got. So this is what I've copied onto here. I have also changed my program to the tester project, so now when I run it, it should open a command prompt that will display all the data, and you're most likely not able to see it because my screen recorder only records one project or one screen or one program at a time, and so I'm gonna cut this off and open another video and start another screen recording so I can show you the results that I've got. So this is obviously you can see some of the numbers like select 2 and all these weights that are showing up. And obviously you are getting this is like a massive chunk of data that is being produced at each time. That is because there's 930 vertices on either end, so on the x-axis and on the y-axis, and you can see the breaking point. So here's where the 930 ends, and then you get a new line of data, and all these minus ones. All these minus ones stand for the stations that have no interconnections or no links between each other. So this seems to have worked, and now we can move on to showing you. Now that we've got that part all sorted out, I can move on to test my program, which I can just run on here because I'm using the same solution for both the inserted database project and also my Monogame project. So if I just run the actual project now, so it shows up with I actually don't know if you can see it, so I'm just gonna try again. Okay, so you should be able to see the program now. So these are my functions. So you have the key function, you have the key icon, you have the starter station, you have the planner route, and you have the close to end the program. So if I go into key, you can find the keys to all the lines, and just as the client requested. So if she doesn't know what the red color line is for, you can always go on here and you can find that it is for central line. And then I can go back to menu by clicking the back to menu icon over here, and that takes me back to menu. Sorry, I didn't mention earlier, this is the map as the client requested that she can obviously use as reference whenever she needs. I'm also just going to click around the rectangles just to make sure there's no interference with icon rectangles from other program states. I'm just going to do that for this one, just to make sure. Right, we're going to go on to search a station now. So that was me clicking search a station, and here I can just type into whatever whatever my station I want to search is. So I'm just gonna test some other input validation things as well. I obviously have the feature where if there are certain keys that will never exist in any of the station names, they will just not go into the type space. So if I click 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 0, they won't go in. If I click the enter, I'm clicking the enter right now, there's nothing going in. Obviously I can type other letters in, but I can't type any enter. Shifts, both shifts, no. Caps lock, no. So yeah, none of those work. But if I type 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, those work. And the backspace obviously works. All my typing is automatically set to all caps, so everything is in uppercase. Let's go with something. Oh, I also need to test if something that I type in, if I type it wrong, so like Acton Town is a station, but if I type it wrong and if I click done, it won't do anything. If I type in something else like 223 GF, okay, yeah, it won't do anything if I click done. So that's me clicking done right now, and there's nothing happening. Okay, yeah, now I can move on. In my test sheet, I said that I was going to test the station Moore Park. Okay, so that has 2 zones, just as expected. It has 2 zones, 6 plus 7, and it only has services by the Metropolitan line, which arrives every 11 to 20 minutes, and this is exactly how it was planned and exactly how it's meant to happen. So we are happy with this. If I go on here, I can obviously click the go back to menu button, which will take me back to menu. And if we go on here and if we look for Moorgate, just to make sure, Moorgate, sorry, I can't find it now. Not Moorgate, sorry, Moore Park it was. So if I go Moore Park, which is up here, it is part of zone 1 and zone 6 and zone 7, hence the 6 plus 7, and it only has 1 line, so that works. I'm just gonna also check the rectangle around here. It works fine, and we can go on back in, and I'm also gonna test a station that has loads of lines just to make sure that everything's working fine. So let's go with King's Cross St. Pancras. And now I'm just going to also check around the rectangle here, everything's fine, everything's working. And if I click done now, then the station is part of zone 1 as expected, yes, and it has Piccadilly, Victoria, Circle, Hammersmith, Metropolitan, Northern, and these are all the approximated arrival times of the tubes. So this also works fine and perfect, we are glad for that. Checking around the rectangle once again, and now we can go back. Now we're going to go into plan route. I'm just going to check the rectangle. So once again, we're just going to test that everything works. So we've got numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up till 5, and then after that I'm pressing 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Those do not come on. If I type anything else, that works, but I cannot move to the next state. It will keep me to the current state, and I can add or I can delete from the space that is given to me to type into. I am pressing both shifts, the caps locks, the enters, the control. None of those works, even the tab, none of that works. Okay, so we are gonna move from, let's say, Oakwood to Russell Square, so that this one would be an easy one for the computer, for the program to work out, and it's meant to be a single line a single line route only. So Oakwood to, I'm just going to also test this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those 6 and 7 do not come on, right shift, left shift, caps lock, enter, okay, that comes on, tab, and we're going to go to, let's say, Russell Square. I'm just going to make sure I'm spelling it right. Yes, Russell Square. And that is a single line service, a single line route, sorry. And it says it's going to take 27 minutes, which is just as expected. So we are happy, and we're going to move on and close this, so we can go and try doing our tests on the other couple of routes that we've got on our test sheet. Okay, so now we're going to do another test as mentioned in the test table. And we're going to go from Stonebridge Park, so Stonebridge, I spelled Stonebridge wrong, sorry, Stonebridge Park to Lambeth North. I think I've spelled Lambeth wrong. Oh yes, I have spelled. So that's also again showing that the validation works. Lambeth. So this is a longer route with just a single line, and so we're happy with this. This has worked as expected. I'm just going to go quickly to the table and check. Yes, it does say 33 minutes. So that did work. That works. Okay, so we're back to plan a route for our next route, which we're going to choose Stanmore next to Bond Street, just as mentioned on the test table. And as expected, we've got the Metropolitan, that we have to use 2 lines to get to our location, because this will give us our shortest route. So, and it takes only 27 minutes, which is shorter than what would be if it was only Jubilee. So this is doing just as expected. And now we can move on. So I'm going to close this again so we can do the next. Moving on to the next planner route test. So we go up to here, and we had to go from Preston Road, and the purpose of this one is because we're going to choose one of the destination or the 2 stations to be one that has 2 or more lines and the service. So this is Leicester Square, and it has Piccadilly and the Northern Line to it. So we're going to go to Leicester Square, making sure that the spelling is correct. Okay, so we've got multiple lines, and it takes 23 minutes, which is good. And so as expected, they have the program has mentioned Leicester Square twice. This is not an issue because Leicester Square, the Northern Leicester, the Leicester Square station is the same. It's just the different lines that have been mentioned because on the actual program, since both the Leicester Square's connection IDs are different, but due to the different lines, the weights between them is 0, so it also takes it into consideration. But other than that, it works fine, and the route is still the shortest route produced. So yeah. Once again, we're moving on to the next plan route test, which will be, this one will be from Paddington Paddington to Green Park. Oh, I believe I spelled Green Park wrong. That obviously validates that this is working as well. So yes, this shows us this has multiple tube lines within the route, and it only takes 9 minutes, so it does show us the shortest route, and we are happy with what it has produced.